So recently, new rumours have been swelling thanks to the tabloid newspapers that Doctor Who is getting cancelled and that Ncuti is quitting the show. Must be a Sunday. Seriously though, if you just automatically believe that tabloids, then, well, Doctor Who's been getting cancelled for the last 10 years. So take everything you see in the papers with a pinch of salt. Saying that though, it's possible there's a little bit of grain of truth somewhere in those articles. And I don't want to be, head in the sand about this. I want to have a nuanced discussion about what is the probability of some of this stuff actually happening. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I want to go through the possibilities, the probabilities, and talk about what might happen, but acknowledge the fact that we don't know anything for certain. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Culture Filter, I am the Fill-In Filter, and once again we're talking about Doctor Who, but I do talk about other geeky pop culture on this channel, like Star Trek, like the MCU, etc. So if you like any of that, do click down below. Now, we're talking about Doctor Who, we're talking about potential cancellation rumours, we're talking about Ncuti quitting and all that sort of stuff that's been circulating once again in the news, much like it did during Jodie Whittaker's time, much like it did during Peter Capaldi's time. It seems like there has been a never-ending, constant Doctor Who's getting cancelled dialogue discourse for the last 10 years. And like I said, I want to kind of tackle this from a bit of a hopefully a nuanced perspective. I don't want to come into this with a let's face it, what tends to happen is you do get these two camps, and there's a lot of people in the middle as well. Not saying they don't exist, but you do get the loudest camps are the people that are like, oh god, Doctor Who's getting cancelled. It's definitely getting cancelled. No doubt about it, it's definitely getting cancelled. But equally, on the other side, you've got what might be the overly positive people. The people that go, no, will never be cancelled. Ever. In a million years. And, what I want to do is talk about realistically what are the chances of these. And even if something is highly probable, it doesn't mean it's going to happen. Even if something's highly unlikely, it doesn't mean it definitely won't happen. But I think the only thing we can do, given that we don't actually know anything, is talk about probabilities here. And the actual realistic scope of the media industry at the moment. Because, again, a lot of people have these very fixed ideas in their head about what, ratings mean that actually is completely outdated. And it's very interesting to see that they're comparing to Doctor Who's ratings, 15 years ago, when that is absolutely irrelevant to whether or not something gets cancelled now. So first of all, let's start with what we do know. We know we're getting a season 2 in a month's time. We know we're getting a 5-episode spin-off show. That's definite. That's happening. We know that's going to happen. And both of these are still in partnership with Disney+. Disney+ is in it for those two. That's the deal they've signed. This amount of episodes leading up to the end of the War Between the Land and the Sea is when their deal ends. 2 seasons of the show and a spin-off. We know more recently that Russell T Davies has said that Disney Plus won't make a decision on season until after season 2 has come out, so they won't make a decision if they are renewing their deal in any capacity until after they have seen the figures for season 3, or how well season 2 does for them. Now, the other thing we kind of know is that this slightly contradicts the impression that, and there is a little bit of sort of interpretation here, because the impression certainly that I had gotten from both things Russell had said and that Ncuti had said very early in season 1, maybe even before season 2 had come out, was that they were expecting to go straight into filming season 3 as soon as Ncuti had finished his run with The Importance of Being Earnest on stage in London, which is about now, I think. I can't remember if it's still on this month, but if it isn't, if it is still on this month, it finishes this month or something like that. So they would be imminently filming, and that seemed to be the expectation of both some things Russell had said very early on, and some things Ncuti had said even fairly recently on the Graham Norton show not too long ago. So that seemed to be the impression. And then this stuff about Disney waiting until after season 2 had come out to make a decision came out, and now they're no longer giving the impression that they are going to be straight into filming. And this will play in big into the factor of whether the possibility of Ncuti wanting to leave early. So what are all of these possibilities? From outright cancellation to just Disney pulling out to Ncuti leaving, there's lots of things that have been rumoured about recently. So what is likely? Let's tackle Disney first. Is Disney going to pull out? Now, I do think this is a possibility, but potentially not for the reason people think. There has been, fairly recently, it has come out that actually Doctor Who was in their top 5 every week that it was being released, which seems to be quite good. There's also the fact that for Disney, this is quite small money. It doesn't cost them as much as something that one of their own shows that they make costs them. Something like a Star Wars show or an MCU show costs them a lot more money than Doctor Who does. So in that sense, you'd think that a quite small investment for, a top 5 show every week, quite a good investment. The issue might come with what is worthwhile to Disney Plus, because yes, ratings are great, you can rave about them and all that, but what they actually want, where they actually get their money from, is subscribers, and keeping subscribers past the one show they subscribed for. And that is where there was a report a few months ago where it may not be serving them very well, because it seems that perhaps people subscribed to watch Doctor Who, got it to the top 5, great, but then as soon as the show finished, they unsubscribed. A lot unsubscribed, seemingly. And that might be the sticking point for Disney. They want people to stick around. They want people to subscribe for Doctor Who and then stick around to watch all their other shows and keep paying that monthly subscription month after month, not just for 2 months, but to keep subscribed for the whole year. Whereas potentially what some people are doing is subscribing for a couple of months, maybe one of those months is even a free trial, and then unsubscribing as soon as the show is finished. Something I do with Apple TV when new seasons of Foundation comes out. I subscribe for that brief period where that's on, and then I unsubscribe because there's nothing else on Apple TV I care about that much. And that's not the kind of subscribers any streaming service want. So they're probably... That's why if they do pull out, it's probably going to be for that reason. So what if they do pull out? Well, there are 2 repercussions for that. What is likely going to happen is there is going to be an increased delay for season 3. How long that is depends how long it takes them the BBC to sort out what they're going to do for season 3. They may well go for another streaming service. That is the most likely. They might want to partner up with a different streaming service. That is the first option. But then again, if none of that works out, they may well go it alone. We do know that they have started work on season 3. Bad Wolf, as a production company, has started work. We know Russell himself has written some scripts for season 3. So they're kind of they're trying to get ahead on the pre-production a little bit, even though they're not funded for it yet, just in order to make the process a little quicker when hopefully the deal comes through. And I imagine they might need to change some of those if they've written them for, say, Ncuti, or they've written them for a predicted certain budget, and then they have to, if Disney pulls out and the BBC goes it alone, the budget's going to be less. So they're going to have to adjust the scripts, but at least they will be further along. They won't be starting completely from scratch. But this delay in filming might be linked to the other bit of the big rumours that came around recently, that Ncuti wants to leave. And to be fair, out of all of the rumours, Disney Plus pulling out is a, possibility. The show getting completely cancelled, I don't think is a possibility, or at least not a very high one. I'll talk about that in a minute. But Ncuti wanting to leave, whether or not he does, but at least considering wanting to leave, is actually quite high, I think. And the reason is, frankly, this delay. Because regardless of whether or not Disney comes back in again or not, them making that decision later than perhaps they were going to make it originally, if season 1 had been a really massive success for them, has caused issues. Because if Ncuti was expecting to be filming around about now, after he finished his National Theatre run, then he's now sitting around not being able to move to Hollywood and pursue his blossoming Hollywood career. He's an upcoming actor. He has career goals, and I'm sure, like, in the original plan of this, he probably would have been thinking, okay, well, we'll record now, possibly another 2 seasons back to back, possibly just 1 season. But then I imagine he would have left after that and gone on to pursue his other goals after his next big block of filming this year. I don't think he would have done any more filming past this year in the original plan. So he would have filmed 1 or 2 seasons this year, and then he'd have been off to pursue bigger, greater things than Doctor Who. And now all of that is pushed back, and he wants to get on with his career. So I absolutely could understand why he'd be like, look, you can't give me a start date on when season 3 is going to be. I want to go on and, star in movies and stuff. So can I leave? Can I leave to do that, please? I can see that as a big possibility. So one of the possibilities is that Ncuti does leave, but Disney stays. And then we get a season 3 with a new Doctor and Disney there as well. One thing I think that might tempt Disney to stay if they don't use them this season is dangling the Daleks in front of them and going, hey, you got this. We'll bring the Daleks back for season 3, and you can big promotion on them, and that will draw more people in because the Daleks are a big draw. People know what the Daleks are. But we might also get the season 3 going ahead with Disney, with Ncuti, but they retool it to him to leave at the end of season 3. Those are the kind of main possibilities, I think. Now let's deal with the rumour of complete cancellation. I don't think this is very likely, and there are 2 big reasons. One, for the BBC, it is still one of the biggest intellectual properties they've got in terms of earning them money in licensing deals, etc. Just generally, it earns them one of the biggest amounts of money of any of their properties. So I can't see them wanting to cancel it. There's not somebody at the top that hates it like there was in the 80s. It makes them money. Doesn't really make sense. It also is one of their key performing shows for the key demographic of I think it's 50? It's the young demographic. It's one I'm not in anymore. Something like 15 to 18 or no, 15 to 25. No, what is it? 15 to 35 or something like that. He's coming to join me. So I don't think the BBC are going to cancel it because it doesn't make any sense for them to. What they might do is, obviously, if they've got this delay with Chaos, they might have Chaos. What they might do is obviously have a bit of a longer gap between seasons, because obviously if Disney pull out and they've got to retool for season 3, they might possibly get a new production team in, but I don't think they're going to cancel it. I just don't think that's possible. Paige wants to come in now. Hello. I was just talking about rumours of Doctor Who getting cancelled.
Wow.
I don't think it's true. I think it's just tabloids. But
why are people thinking that?
Well, the tabloids like to speculate, and that they have done for the last 10 years, constantly said Doctor Who's about to get cancelled. It never has done. Things might happen. Ncuti might leave as the Doctor, so the current Doctor might leave, as I've discussed. But Disney might pull out, but I don't think the BBC are going to cancel it. It doesn't make financial sense for them. It doesn't make demographic sense for them. So I don't think it's going to happen.
How do I see myself?
You can't. Well, you can maybe see yourself in the mirror. Anyway, my video's been invaded now, so I'm going to go, and we've got to go out anyway. So thanks for watching. What do you think? Which of these rumours do you think has a grain of truth in it? Do you think any of them do? Or do you think it's all rubbish? Or do you think it's all true? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And I'll see you for more Doctor Who videos soon.
Peace.
Goodbye.
Like and subscribe.